everybody. Thanks for joining. This is our last Stepping It Up Team Keep Punching social media training for now. We'll work with Carrie and Mickey on round 2, hopefully coming up later in the spring with a lot more info and topics. But for now, this is going to close us out. Tonight, I wanted to focus on some of the aspects of scheduling, some of the benefits of using the soundboard, and some of the ins and outs of Buffer and Hootsuite in order to not only schedule content out ahead of time, but the good amount of information and feedback that these platforms provide for you. So super helpful there. And then also wanted to get into a little bit of how to leverage LinkedIn. I've had several questions come in lately on what's the best practices for LinkedIn. Joe's got a lot of experience there as well. And then wanted to finish up talking about how to best leverage Instagram and the soundboard content that we're providing. So let's start with Buffer. What we're looking at here is my Buffer home screen. I know we've mentioned it before in the past. And so just as a quick refresher, Buffer allows you to connect multiple social media profiles to this as a central hub, which is kind of a nice thing. But the real kicker is that it lets you schedule posts ahead of time. As a friendly reminder, it lets you connect one profile per platform for free. But if you wanted to add multiple Facebook business pages or groups that you're a member of and manage, then you do have to upgrade to their $10 a month plan. So just be aware of that. Also, Pinterest is free for the first week, and then for that to continue, you would also have to upgrade to their plan. And I'll talk about the way that they treat Instagram when we get to that. It's not quite as easy as you would like it to be. So when you're on the soundboard, remember to use the Buffer button to schedule out the post to go out when you want. We've rolled out a new feature here on Soundboard where we are previewing a little bit more of the article, in some instances the whole thing, so you can see it without ads and things like that. So we're going to share, and we're going to schedule it with our Buffer button here. So one little quirk of Buffer is that it doesn't auto copy the suggested text, so you do actually have to come back here if you want to use this and copy it and paste it in here. So remember, all the channels that are lit up are the channels that this message is going to go out on. So since this is a business-minded post, I think it's appropriate to leave on to go on LinkedIn, and then we can, of course, send it out on Facebook and Twitter as well. And then we want to tell it when we want to go out. So we've got a couple of things here. If we've already got posts scheduled, we can say we want this one to go out to be our next post, or we can share it right now, or we can schedule it. So typically, remember, peak Facebook times are in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning, and then 6 to 9:30 p.m. at night. So we want to go ahead and catch today's Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this to go out in the morning and be at the top of everybody's feed in the morning. But one thing that I've discovered about Buffer, and I wanted to point out, because Facebook provides a data set about what's optimal, but Buffer's got something interesting that once you start using it, I wanted to point out. So let's go back to my dashboard here. And so the first thing that we see under the content tab is what's in the queue. So I've got a couple things scheduled to go out. I've got a workout thing scheduled to go out tomorrow morning, and this is scheduled to go out in the morning as well. And then I got 3 in the morning. I probably should change that. But the next thing that Buffer has that I've discovered, and I think this is really interesting, I wanted to point this out. So under here, over here under the Schedule tab, if you click the Schedule tab, first of all, you can kind of tell Facebook when you want it to go out on an average basis. So I've got my kind of two post times in the morning and in the evening. But they have this really cool little thing that they've rolled out here. It says, want Buffer to optimize your schedule? Try our optimal timing tool. And what you can do is, when you click this, tell it which platform you want it to check out and about how many times you want to post each day. So I'm going to average 2. And then you hit calculate here. And what it does is, based on how your audience has engaged with posts in the past, it's going to recommend certain times for stuff to go out based on the engagement that's happened to you. So you can see we've got this major spike of engagement around 6:40 a.m. and then it significantly drops off by about 9 a.m. and we got nothing. And then we have a lunchtime spike of engagement, and then it drops off, and then we have a little after dinner spike. So Facebook, their averages look different than this. But Buffer's telling me that my specific audience reacts better to posts at these particular times. So if you hit this, replace existing schedule, it's going to optimize the post to go out at the best time. So it's telling me, go ahead and send a couple out in the morning because there's so much traffic on at that time of day. So then you can come over here to the analytics piece, and you can tell what's happened to all of your posts. And so Facebook is going to tell you 2 of these 3 pieces of data. It's going to tell you how many comments were on the post and how many people liked it. But Facebook does not tell you how many people clicked on the article. Okay, so this is where I think this starts to get really interesting, is because you can tell outside of what Facebook will tell you how many people have read it. Okay, so I think this is where things get really interesting, because, okay, I only had 2 likes on this post, but 3 people read it, and they clicked through the link and read the whole thing. This one about caffeine, only 1 person liked it, but 12 people read it. So this is I think this is a much more insightful thing for you to figure out what your audience is reacting to, because ultimately this tells you, these are nice to have, and these are certainly good for your post to stay active, like we've talked about with building up affinity with other people. But this is really kind of the gold mine of what you want, because you want people clicking through. And so when you start seeing this, the clicks outweigh the engagement, then you know that the post is done well. And one of these I wanted to show y'all. This one went crazy. All right, I got 132 clicks on this thing, and I think it's because I sent it out, on multiple platforms. But if it does well, then you can rebuffer it. You can repost it. There is no shame, as fast as social media moves today, in something that went out over a month ago to repost that thing. I have read many white papers from businesses that will sometimes tweet the exact same tweet 40 or 50 or 60 times across the space of a week or 2, because it does well, and people, just move through so fast. You get new audience every time.
It's no different than a billboard stays up every day.
You got it. So I think this is really valuable information that Buffer provides for you for free. There is some more in-depth stuff here that's more graphy, that's hidden behind their $10 a month paywall, so you can decide if that's worth it to you or not. But I think this information right here, coupled with figuring out your posting schedule, is the most valuable thing. So now what you can start doing on your Healthy Living Soundboard articles is you can spend even less time worrying about what time to post it, because you'll notice that Buffer is going to figure out the best time for you. So when you hit share and Buffer, again, we got to copy our suggested text here if we want to use it for Facebook. But all you have to do now is hit add to queue, and it's going to take care of all the rest of this, of the timing aspect of it for you. So if you have your Buffer app turned on your phone, you're going to get notifications of where and when people are engaging with the stuff. Now keep in mind, you don't go to Buffer to engage back with them to keep the conversation going. You have to go to Facebook or to LinkedIn or Twitter to have the conversation. But Buffer's going to tell you what's happening to it, and especially that click-through rate. And I think that's a really cool thing, especially if you are posting If you're dropping in links to your Juice Plus site occasionally, which I think is a good idea, if you're dropping in juiceplus.com blog posts that tie to your specific, Juice Plus site, mix those in, pepper those in with those soundboard articles, and see, what the engagement rate is across all of those comparatively, and see what your click-through rate is, because that's a pretty good conversion indicator. I don't know, because I'm not a Juice Plus representative, how it works on your virtual office. I don't know if it tells you how many people have visited your site, or if it just tells you if a sale is made. But that would be something interesting to look at and see if, Joe, do you have an awareness of that? Do you know if the virtual office gives traffic reports?
I don't know.
Okay.
You probably open it up and let someone, Janet or someone, can answer that. I think they're working on a whole new.
Yeah, they are working on a new system. Okay, so the Instagram piece of this, yes, it is attractive to think, wow, I can schedule out my Instagram posts ahead of time. You can, up to a point, but here's the limitation. Because Instagram doesn't let outside apps actually do the post, what it does is, if you schedule an Instagram post with Buffer, it will schedule it for you, but then it just pops up a reminder that you've got to go actually create the post yourself on Instagram. You can't just let it go like you can on all these other platforms and assume that it's going to complete the action. It won't. So basically what you're doing here is setting up reminders for yourself. And if you're using soundboard images on your phone, and I'll show you again how to do that in a minute, but if you're using soundboard images in the Buffer app to schedule, then with a couple of clicks you can get it to Instagram. I have found it unwieldy and cumbersome, and it's just easier to just create the post. But that's just something you got to remember to do, and you can't schedule ahead of time. So caveat there. Now with Hootsuite, I did want to point out one unique feature to Hootsuite that is different than Buffer. So Hootsuite, another scheduling tool, another place where you can connect your social media accounts to one hub. The big difference with Hootsuite, one, I think it's way less user-friendly. I think there's way more bells and whistles. I think it's more complicated. But if you're a power user, by all means, this is the way you want to go. But when you click on your dashboard, it allows you to connect any 3 social media platforms that you want for free, regardless of if you're doubling up on one specific platform. So you can see here, I've got my personal Facebook and the Healthy Living Soundboard Facebook page. So they're both Facebook, and unlike Buffer, this is free. And then I also have my Instagram plugged in. Hootsuite is the same way. It behaves the same way as Buffer with Instagram. You can't complete the post. You can schedule it, you can create it, but you still have to actually end up going to Instagram to fulfill the post and to
One thing, James, I'm much in the past before, I was a big Hootsuite user more than Buffer before we built Edge Theory. But Hootsuite, if you do, the one thing it's nice about Hootsuite, if you have a team, and if you have, you have an assistant or someone who helps you with your social handles, it's very good collaboration to give multiple people access to your handles. So a lot of times, if you happen to have, your niece, nephew, whoever helping you send out content, it's a really nice way to give them access without giving them actual access. So that's a lot of people use it in business that want to use it more to collaborate, to have multiple people posting on that company page instead of giving the password to 5 people.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so let's hop over to LinkedIn, because I know some folks have asked about what is best practice there. LinkedIn, of course, you make business connections. Joe, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but my philosophy on it has been, if anybody asks to connect with me on LinkedIn, I say yes, regardless of whether I know them or not, because you never know what it's going to lead to down the road. Joe, do you kind of have an open door policy with LinkedIn, or do you try to be more specific?
No, I'm a little more specific, but it's definitely going to have less random people than Facebook. So it's definitely more of a select crowd just because not as many people are on it. But I still look at people because a lot of times people just want to offer you a job or something. They're recruiters or stuff like that. So, but overall, I think you'd accept most people.
Yeah.
I think for LinkedIn, clearly it's not a place where probably maybe not a lot of your customers are, but again, I've been using soundboards and content to put on LinkedIn. Excuse me. So I do think a lot of other business owners are on it, and I think it's a good place just to put content. It's getting indexed. It just can't hurt when you can just with the push of a button. I would encourage you when you're using soundboard, to use every once in a while do post to LinkedIn. Of course, for those people that haven't used LinkedIn, think of it as an online resume. That's how it sort of started, and it's a place where if you go to my LinkedIn account, it shows every job I've had since I've been a recovering CPA, from the time I started my career, and it goes through and but it's really like an online resume.
Yeah.
So the other thing about LinkedIn, so I think it's a good place. I would encourage, if you don't have one, it cannot hurt to have a LinkedIn page. I think you should, as an independent, as a franchisee and a business owner. The other thing that's important that you can do with LinkedIn is to search companies. So there's lots and lots of companies that have a LinkedIn page, and it does a good job breaking out between, people's pages and the company. So Edge Theory has a page, and James Ketchum has a page. It's a little more business kind of friendly. So it all depends on who you're selling to. But I think it's just another great place to have your information out there. But it's not a place necessarily to go prospect as much as it is to be a thought leader and just be, it's just another phone book you can have your phone number in, and people, I think it's more of a perception thing, which is important in sales. So I think it just shows that you're serious because you do have a LinkedIn page. But I think your farming and your hunting definitely should be with Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to point out, just when you go to LinkedIn, they do have a home feed where people can post articles. It's not like Facebook where it's built on an affinity algorithm. It's just a chronological thing like Twitter, but people can post articles. And so when you post something to LinkedIn, this is where it shows up. And so the reach is pretty far because, like, for instance, I don't have a LinkedIn connection with Will Baker, but I do have with the guy who liked this post. So I'm seeing what this guy has to say. So it's kind of like a Facebook share or a Twitter retweet. So other people will be able to see your stuff as your network likes and interacts with what you posted.
Yeah. And one thing I do, James, and everybody, what I do on LinkedIn, well, lately, because of Soundboard, literally I've used, there's right there.
Yeah.
Right there is something I posted today, a really cool content by a very large venture capital firm. This is actually the guy who was the CEO of Netscape, Mark Andreessen, and with Jim Barksdale, my partner. And so I grabbed that article and posted it. I think it's a good place to put content, but also what I do really religiously with LinkedIn more than anything else, besides putting content out there just to, be a thought leader, I try to put content out there, at least one time a day. But on the left here, you can see James. You can see what I do every day is I look at who's viewed my profile.
Yeah.
Really, I have a premium account, I think, but when you can click on who viewed your profile, it's really slick. Let's see who viewed. So right now, Ryan viewed it, a quality assurance, Daniel Wallace, a copywriter, but you can begin to see who these people are that are really viewing your profiles. And so I look at that all the time. It could be someone I met in San Francisco last week that I met with. So I think
I don't have premium, but you can see some of it with the free version.
Yeah. You can't. Well, go. You can't really price if you can't.
Yeah, somebody at Juice Plus looked, but I don't have the premium.
Gotcha. It might have been like something like that. Okay. Yeah. So again, I think it's a great place to put content. Go up and search. I'm just curious. Search Juice Plus. Yeah. See, I mean, of course, you got lots of people here. So you got, but then of course, go up top and now
10,000 people results.
Yeah, so you have 10,000 people out there, but go down better and type up, children's health. You get the idea, right? So I think if, since you guys, every one of you guys are all Juice Plus is all about children's health, go here. Same thing as typing in a search on Twitter or Facebook. And, like right there on Jason, he is the program director of the Health and Wellness Alliance for Children at Children's Health System in Dallas, Fort Worth, right? Well, if that's somewhere, if you lived in Dallas, you could send an in-mail, which is that blue button there, and that allows you to send a mail. You're not connected with him. And with LinkedIn, I'm not sure if you did this or not already, James, but you have first connections, second connections, and third connections. James and I have a first connection, but then, I might have a second connection because I have a friend, James, who has a friend, Bob, and I have a second connection with Bob. I don't have a direct connection with him, but I do know him through James. And so I can ask James to introduce me to Bob. So there's a whole idea. So right now, Jason Wallace is a third connection to James. He knows someone who knows someone who's connected to James, right? It's a little different play. But the point is, when you go look at, type in healthy children, or if you're in San Antonio or you're in Baton Rouge, type in Baton Rouge health, and you can go find probably business owners, for example, are on here that own the local gym or whatever. But what you can do is, rather than liking them or having them like you can send them an in-mail, which is just like an email, and ask them to connect. And so there's a lot of ways you can really use this, that you don't have to, quote, have someone like you, like with Facebook.
Yeah. And people are very open to accepting connections like that. My mother sells cabbie clothes, which is, if you've not heard of it, it's similar. It's a direct sales model. It's in-home clothing shows. And she uses LinkedIn to connect with local business owners who she's done well by bringing in ladies that own boutiques who want to bring in purses and shoes and jewelry to complement the clothing show. And so she's made new customers because the boutique owners bring their customers, and now she's got all this other stuff that she can present, and so everybody wins. And so she kind of treats it almost like a chamber of commerce, local chamber of commerce, connection point. And so that's a thought, and like Joe's talking about, to connect with local business owners on, let's get creative on how to partner with what we're doing and think outside the box a little bit. So
it's definitely going to be business to business more than business to consumer. But type in Jeff Olson up top. Jeff Olson, just as we were talking, a lot of y'all know Jeff Olson, the ex-Olympic skier who's big juice player. He just asked me to connect. So hit connect.
Yeah.
Just say send now. Here you go. Yeah. So watch that. I bet you while he's on it right now, he'll. So he just asked Jeff Olson to connect. Jeff's going to get a notice, and Jeff will accept him or not. I think, but just think business to business here as opposed to business to consumer.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. How to leverage LinkedIn. I'm going to hop over to my phone real quick and share this. I wanted to talk about how to get the most out of Instagram and how to tell what's going on pretty clearly on the platform, because remember, hashtags are your friend when it comes to connecting your content with other people. So let's go over here to Instagram. I want to show you something that is pretty cool to the platform. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to hit search here at the bottom, and we've got a search bar at the top, and I'm just going to type the word health. And usually it comes up with top, which is going to, people and hashtags. But if you click over to hashtags, this is going to tell you some really popular hashtags with the topic that you're talking about on the platform, obviously ranked by a number here. So we can tell hashtag healthy lifestyle is a huge conversation. Hashtag healthy food share, hashtag healthy food, and then it drops off. But 13 million people are using the hashtag healthy lifestyle. So what an incredible way. Remember, this is thinking outside of just your follower structure, your follower network. But when you create a post with a soundboard image, you can go over, check an active hashtag, and then drop that in on your post. Where's the button? Here it is. And you just start typing here, and you don't even have to go search. It'll just do it right here and tell you, what do you want to put in? What's the best? Well, boom, there you go. Incredible way to leverage the content provided for you on Soundboard with an active platform, people in these large conversations, and it'll go out, super, super easy. If you don't remember how to do that, I'm going to go to the Soundboard on my phone. And remember, we want to search here for an image. And when we search for an image, this is going to bring up our still images. These motion ones are, while they're really cool, they don't work on Instagram. But pick the one you want. And then we've actually started hosting these in a different way. So you don't even have to hit the top link there anymore. You can just tap and hold on the image right here. That's not the window I want. All right, scratch that. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit that link at the top and get taken to the image. And I tapped and hold on it, and now I'm going to save image, and that goes straight in my camera roll. And now we can come over here to Instagram, and it's when we're ready to create a post, it's going to be right there and ready to go. And using those popular hashtags, it's a great way to get new connections. Search for those hashtags, create searches around that. You'll find a lot of people that you can follow and connect with. Great prospecting option on a platform where there's a lot of young people that have migrated off of Facebook. Facebook bought Instagram for a reason, because that's where the young people went. So pretty great way to use that, leverage that.
Jeff Olson was watching. I thought that was too cool to be that coincident. He's on the
Hey Jeff. Let's see. Let's come back here and see what's happened on my network. He accepted. All right. Very good. All righty. Well, that's kind of what I wanted to hit on tonight, was the scheduling tools, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So everybody, I appreciate all your time across these last weeks that we've been meeting, and we will work with Mickey and Carrie on bringing Series 2 to you in the coming weeks. Feel like Bono.
Can you open up chat for any questions on this?
Yeah. Feel free to ask questions through the chat. Remember Bono at the end of Rattle and Hum, where he said, "We got to go away a little while and dream it all up again," and then they came back with the greatest album ever. That's what we're gonna do. You just got to go.
Well, there's a couple things we've been talking lately to Carrie about just this past weekend, but a couple of specific topics. I think we're going to do a couple of bigger one-time kind of trainings, and then come back with semester 2 here shortly. I think that's sort of the plan, right, James?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The chat.
Okay, Christy, can we post on a Facebook page the same way you show in the personal profile? So, yep, you can pick an article, and that's not a great one for Facebook. Let's pick an article, and let's see, what's a good one? Here's a good one. Oh yeah. All right, so we want to share. Now remember, we want to hit the Facebook for Groups button. If you're having trouble with this on your mobile device, this share function is actually due to no fault of our own, but Facebook's fault. This button does not work on mobile. So if you're having trouble with that, it does work on desktop, just not on mobile at the moment. But we're going to share, and with this widget, we're going to copy in our suggested text, and then instead of sharing to our personal timeline, you can either share it directly to someone else. We can share it in a group that we are a part of, whether you own the group or whether you're just a member, or on your business page. And if you do that, then you can switch to however many business pages you have, like me, and it's out and gone. So that is
one thing also, James, I think, you probably went through this I was not on last week, but I've noticed lately just myself, use that magic search again. Type in that, hit that magic search. I was on the phone with Mayo Clinic, a big health brand, and I was using this as an example with the head chief marketing officer, and it's there's so much good content. You can type in Mayo and just get Mayo articles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of stuff out here now. So don't forget that there's so much in the library, and a lot of this stuff doesn't have a shelf life.
That's right.
When you think about, it'd be one thing if we were promoting stocks, right, every day, but this is something that, this is good content, even back to October. It's still great content. So use that magic search. I've been using it a lot, depending on what you're thinking about. Moms, tips, Mayo, gluten, dairy, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've actually been updating this, y'all, since last April, since we started modeling this for corporate. So this has, I can't even tell you how many articles are in it. And Joe's right. We work hard to find articles that are going to be valid, 6 months and even a year from now, because we're not going after that super trendy, super topical stuff. Because, a good exercise, healthy eating, not going to change. As new research comes to light, we'll certainly highlight that. And, fun stuff like this is fun for a little while. You don't want to post that 10 times, but a lot of these articles can be revisited over time. So, yeah, good point. All right, we got another question here. Let's see. Okay, so Jeff asked, where are discussions with posting shred tent content up on Soundboard? Should reps request to corporate? So my understanding is that the shred 10 content owners are discussing with corporate, but I don't know where they are in the discussions to let us put that stuff on here. So
but feel free to speak up. Did James, did you share that what you're doing here shortly with Janet Black?
No, I haven't talked about that, but yeah, I've got a meeting with Janet Black, and I'm going to be able to present Soundboard and our education materials to all the RDs in a couple of weeks. So pretty excited about, where that'll go. And I'm hoping that the Shred 10, after everybody's aware, because we still feel like 98.7% of the Juice Plus Nation doesn't know that Soundboard exists. So we certainly would love to be a part of, the Healthy Living Revolution content, Shred 10 content, and even, Juice Plus itself makes some great videos and things like that. So,
but I've had multiple conversations with Mitra and Jamie Kinsey, and they're all working through that. We just want to make sure we follow the right channels before we put it up.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Emma asked, is it possible to prepare an add-in sheet for our user guide on Buffer and Hootsuite? So Emma, when I was writing the user guide, I really had trouble consolidating the functionality of Buffer and Hootsuite into a couple of pages, and it just got too long and unwieldy. So I will need to make an addendum to that. So thank you for that, and I will definitely keep that in mind and work on that.
James, I know we have a link, there's a link to that PDF, correct?
Yes, there's a link to the guide here in the help, and the other thing that's in help.
It's in the help.
Yeah, in the help center, we've got, I made a whole little section for it. Soundboard user guides is here, but I do have about a 5-minute walkthrough video of how to use Buffer. It's a lot of what we talked about tonight, so feel free to check that out as well if you need a refresher on the ins and outs of Buffer. But Buffer itself also has some great help tools if you need it. And they got a nice button here, video tutorials. I'm a big fan of video tutorials, so they have their own tutorial channel right there.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
I would say, for all the Keep Punching folks, please, feel free to. You have James. I guess they have your information, but also feel free to, let us know what you. I mean, I think maybe James, you and Carrie talked about this, but just I like to send around sort of on this first semester, whether it be just people coming and I don't know how the best way to coordinate that, James, but let people get everybody's feedback on what they like the most in the course. And also, for semester 2, we obviously want to have sort of open discussion that you guys, tell us what did you like the best. From a format standpoint, we've been talking a lot with Carrie and Mickey about, the format, from the Q&A standpoint to the teaching and all that good stuff. So, reach out to James and let's, share your thoughts. Obviously, we want y'all to share, let everybody know these things are recorded and everybody can see them. But any thoughts you have on, format all the way to another thing that we do, James, I guess you've reached out, but, for each of you guys and even for your own teams, we did this before, but I think Carrie said if we had, had 15 people, we do a call with team leaders. Right, James?
Yeah. We have an intro to Soundboard and intro to best practices on some of the big social media platforms, about a 1-hour call if you're interested in doing that with your teams, specifically if you feel like they still haven't heard about it or want
or new reps.
Yeah, or new reps. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about new reps all the time. I think one thing that Carrie talked about is having, something around just that as well. So we'll look at that for sure. And I think we're still doing another Apple Watch this month. So
that's right.
If folks that have not signed up, we've done plenty of Apple Watches. We're getting discounts now at Apple, which is a hard thing to do.
This is true. It's true. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's time, and we will be in touch soon with more info to come. And as Carrie says, keep punching.
Thank y'all.
Okay. Good night.